as we move forward now with Aaron's campaign, it is critical that we emphasise the vital importance of the information that we are uncovering and the information we are releasing at the moment, i.e. Molly Staunton's testimony and Christopher Morton's statement, and how we have to highlight how the investigation and the trial was conducted, and how this information that we are releasing shows and it marks the collusion, the coercion and the corruption, and it must be seen by you, the public, and indeed the global community as a whole. So, as Aaron's family, I hope people understand we have no choice. We have this information. So therefore, what would anyone expect us to do with this information? The lies and the collusion and the corruption are there for all to see. There's blatantly false statements given by so-called witnesses. The illegal methods employed by the authorities to fabricate the evidence and the statements and the information within those statements. And then again, we have the silence of the mainstream media, which is obviously deafening. But the mainstream media has decided to ignore this information we have put out most recently. Which, again, as we've said before, it is very, very scary that no mainstream media is either alerting you, the Irish public, to this information, or indeed, if they felt free to do so, to criticise the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign for showing these people giving statements and giving testimony. But obviously we know the reason why that's not been highlighted. Because if there was any truth or validity to any of these statements or the actions of the authorities, it stands to reason then that the Irish media, the Irish authorities, and the case in particular of Christopher Morton, and now as we move forward with Anthony Gerald Maguire, the Northern Ireland authorities would be speaking out against our campaign. So I will highlight once again, it's not only the mainstream media in the Republic of Ireland, we're also extremely disappointed with the mainstream media in Northern Ireland. And again, all we can say is the silence is deafening, because the information and the content we are releasing now is, without a shadow of a doubt, worthy of mention in the mainstream media. So as we move on, as I say, as we move forward with Aaron's campaign, the next statement we are going to see is the statement of Anthony Gerald Maguire. Now, we've covered Anthony Gerald Maguire's circumstances on numerous occasions, and his involvement with Homeland Security, the questionable evidence and questionable statements, so questionable immigration, criminal records. We have covered this in great depth. But now you're actually going to see Anthony Gerald Maguire's statement. Now, it's very important to note here, this is an unusual process insofar as what you're about to witness is a readback. So the actual, what we're going to watch now is the readback of a statement. It's not as it was with Christopher Morton, his first cousin, where we witnessed the statement being taken and written down by Bobby Ogle and Pat Marry. Mark Phillips is reading his statement back. So they've written a statement, and for reasons we don't know, I'm sure there may be some sort of explanation to it, but for some reason, the taking of the statement is not recorded. This actions and the way this has been put forward as evidence in the Book of Evidence is questionable, to say the least. And that's the first video you'll see. And then there's a short clip, I think it's just less than 2 minutes, where Anthony Gerald Maguire is in the back of an SUV, and you'll see where he has an interaction with excuse me, with Mark Phillips, Detective Mark Phillips, where Mark Phillips is getting permission to take a scar that's over Anthony Gerald Maguire's eye. And that'll be covered in the videos coming forward. So Again, Anthony Gerald Maguire never gave testimony, didn't come to give his evidence in the courtroom. And again, we're going to cover that in detail as we move forward. But this video is vitally important, and it is crucial for linking several aspects of the investigation, several aspects of the trial. And again, it's a vital piece in the jigsaw that we have created, and it fits in nicely, and it shows the connection between, obviously, Anthony Gerald Maguire, his cousin Morton, the behaviour of Marion Ogle, the links with Morton, Maguire, Daniel Cahill, and the actual judge, the trial judge in Aaron's case, Judge Michael White, actually hearing from Anthony Gerald Maguire a letter from America from his lawyer saying he was put under duress to give a statement. And this falls in perfectly with what we've seen from Matt Flaherty, Ronan Flynn, and indeed Thomas O'Callaghan, the young man who refused to do what Maguire and Morton done. He done the decent thing, and he was deported. He wouldn't tell lies. So that's why this video is so vitally important. And again, it highlights, when we go through it, we'll see why we've always said, and it's quite clear, that Mark Phillips, Pat Murray were more than happy to deal with drug dealers and criminals, illegal immigrants, and indeed, as we've seen in Daniel Cahill's case, paedophile sympathisers. So the connections between all these individuals and the Irish authorities is undeniable, and they demonstrate a coordinated effort to frame Aaron for a crime he physically could not have committed. So we will not stop releasing this information, because we will not stop until the full truth is exposed. And the key word there is the truth is exposed. And we will repeat once again, and we continue to repeat this: if there was anything sinister, anything incorrect, anything illegal with what we are doing, if we were, as we are, calling these people out as liars, as criminals, as drug dealers, if there was any inaccuracies whatsoever, we would be called to task on that. The silence is deafening from all angles of the authorities. So we do urge everyone that's watching the video, please share our content widely, and put yourself forward and demand accountability from the authorities, and demand accountability from your local media. A simple text, a simple email to any media outlet, and ask, why is there no coverage for the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign? If the Bradys are telling the truth, it's an obvious miscarriage of justice, one of the most serious miscarriages of justice in the history of our state. If the Justice for Aaron Brady are telling any lies and are berating these people who allegedly came forward, we know they didn't come forward, but if we were berating these people, that should be in the media. How disgraceful it would be for the Brady family to be saying these things about these people who came forward to give statements. As I say, the video we're about to watch is Anthony Gerald Maguire's statement. It is a readback, so just it's not something we are aware of, but as we go along, we learn all these, what happens in these situations. It's not the taking of the statement. We cannot be 100% sure if this readback is immediately after the statement was written down by Jim McGovern and Mark Phillips, or if it's at a later date. It's something, hopefully, if we can get Morton and Maguire into a courtroom, we can find all this information out. When all these criminal events took place. So let's have a listen to and a watch of the readback of Anthony Gerald Maguire's statement. A statement of lies.
Okay, good morning, Anthony. Mark Phillips is my name. I'm the Detective Sergeant with the Irish Garda, the police in Ireland, yeah? and we've met here today, and you have agreed to meet us, and that you look to speak to us today in relation to an incident that happened to you on St. Patrick's Day, and you agreed to make a statement in that matter, and we have recorded that statement in writing. We're going to read it back over to you, and if there's anything that's not correct, if we have recorded it, that you want to clarify, change, if you want to alter anything, you can feel free to do that, and we'll make a note of it there. We'll ask you to sign it at the end, okay? And we're just recording the readback of the interview on this camera here. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a statement of Anthony Gerald Maguire. Of October 1990. It's taken on the 1st of December 2017 at the above address by Mark Phillips, Detective Sergeant from GNBCI, and Jim McGovern, Detective Guard from GNBCI. That's the Guard, the National Bureau of Criminal Investigation back in Ireland. And I hereby declare that the statement is true to the best of my knowledge and belief, and that I make it knowing that, if it is tendered in evidence, I will be liable to the prosecution if I state in it anything which I know to be false or do not believe to be true. So basically what you're telling us in this statement is true to the best of your knowledge, and you're not telling us lies or trying to mislead us. Okay. I am residing at the above address with my wife Amanda. She is an American. Her maiden name was Curtis. We got married 1st of April 16 at Brooklyn City Hall. I am originally from Mike, County Down in Northern Ireland. I came to the USA on the 29th of March 2014. I am currently working at NYC Brownstone in New York City as a carpenter. I want to speak to you today in relation to an incident that happened on St. Patrick's Day 2015 in the Coachman's Bar in Woodlawn, Bronx, New York. I was initially scared to come forward. It is about time that I did. I'm stepping up now. I was warned to keep my mouth shut, or I know what would happen to me. I feel that now is the right time to come forward with this information. I was holding it in for so long. I have been scared, but they shouldn't be getting away with it. On St. Patrick's Day 2015, I was working for a company called Aaron Tech as a carpenter. We were doing a renovation at a golf course in Long Island. I was working for my cousin Aidan Morton. He lives in White Plains in New York. After work, Aidan dropped me to Woodlawn to cash my cheque. It was about 8:30 to 9 p.m. I knew that the Coachman's Bar cashed cheques. This was my purpose of going to this bar. I had only been at the Coachman's Bar once before this briefly. The cheque was for about $860. The name on the cheque was Anthony Maguire, and it was an Aaron Tech Inc. cheque. And that's INC Inc. Yeah, it's incorporated. I was on my own. I was wearing a red Aaron Tech t-shirt. It had the American flag on the sleeve. I had no tools or bags with me. I was clean shaven at the time. I was living with my cousin Christopher Morton at the time at 101 Street, 101st Street, apartment 3F, New York, New York 10029. It was my intention to go back to this address once I got the cheque changed. Christopher was working on the St. Patrick's Day, but as I said, I was dropped by Aidan Morton to the Coachman's Bar in Woodlawn. I walked straight in the front door. I walked up to where the bar was. I have drawn a map of the layout of the bar. As the bar curved around nearest the door, I noticed an empty seat and I sat down on it. The barman came over and I asked him could he change a cheque. He said he would, and that it would take a few minutes, and he said it would cost $20. The barman was Irish, black hair, very muscly with tattoos. I don't know his name. I ordered a glass of water while I was waiting. I saw a fella to my left, nearly touching shoulder distance away. He was wearing an Ireland green soccer jersey, no collars on it. He was a blocky fella. He had dark hair combed forward with a cow's lick at the front. He had no beard, pale complexion. He was in the company of about 3 others. There was one really tall fella with him. He was skinny, loud laugh. He was kind of goofy. By that I mean he was the one doing all the silly giggling. He wore a lot of rings on his right hand. They were rings made of coins. I can't say what colour. I can't describe him better. I don't know his name. The second fella was ginger, short hair with a skinny face, taller than me. Might have been wearing green, a little unshaven. I can't describe the third fella. I wasn't staring at these guys. The ginger fella was standing the closest to the blocky fella in the Ireland jersey. These guys were having a conversation, the blocky fella and the ginger fella, but the other two were in on the conversation. The nature of the conversation was, do you think you have what it takes to kill a man? The blocky man in the green jersey said those exact words. The other 3 of his friends were saying, I don't know, or maybe. These 4 guys were right beside me. The blocky fella was right beside me. I was listening to this conversation. I'm saying to myself, who are these guys talking about what it takes to kill a man? The ginger fella whispered something in the blocky fella's ear. Immediately the blocky fella in the jersey turned to me and said, well, do you think you have what it takes to kill a man? I replied to him, no, why do you? He said, yes, that's the reason I'm over here. I shot that guard in loud. I automatically linked his comment to the guard who had been shot in Dundalk a couple of years earlier. I was drinking my water. I got a lump in my throat when I heard this. I was angry when I heard this comment. I couldn't help myself. I said to him, "Do you think you're cool bragging about shooting a guard? You're a scumbag." That was the last thing I said to him. I had already got my money from the barman and was getting ready to leave when the blocky fella asked me the question about shooting a man. When the blocky fella said this to me, it was like he didn't care. He had a smirk on his face. He was bragging about it. One of his mates said to him to shut up. I don't know which one. I just wanted to get away. I could feel that something was going to happen. The only other person I interacted with in the bar was the barman. I didn't even use the bathroom. There was no live music in the bar. There was a good crowd in the bar. It was packed for St. Patrick's Day. That's why these guys were up so tight to me. I was only in the bar about 20 or 30 minutes. I had no alcohol in the bar, only water. I remember when the blocky fella said, "Do you think you have what it takes to kill a man?" And the other three in his group were saying, "I don't know, maybe." I heard the ginger fella saying, "If you're able to hit a man the hardest punch in the face, then you're able to kill a man." That's why I was thinking, who are these guys? That's when the ginger fella whispered something to the blocky fella. I got my money from the check, and then I was getting ready to leave. That's when the blocky fella asked me about killing a man. I opened the door of the bar out onto the street. The outside doors were propped open. Just as I got onto the street, I felt two hands push me very hard into my back. It moved me along the street a good bit. I was making my way to the bus stop. I turned around. I saw the blocky fella in the green jersey standing there in the street. He immediately hit me with his right fist just over my left eye. He bursted me open. There was a lot of blood. He then hit me with his left fist and right fist. I fell to the ground. He knelt down and put his right knee into my neck. He said, "Keep your mouth shut or you know what will happen to you." I saw the ginger fella from the bar up a bit on the street. I heard him say, "Come on, Aaron, come on, Aaron." The ginger fella lifted Aaron off me and broke up the fight. They both walked up Katona Avenue up the hill. It was all over very fast. I took off my t-shirt and held it to my head. I ran down towards the Rambling House bar to get a black cab back home to the city. Nobody came to my assistance when I was assaulted and I saw no one that I knew. I got home. Christopher was working. I went in and I cleaned myself up. I stayed in my room. I didn't seek medical treatment because I didn't have insurance. The next day I couldn't go to work. I couldn't go for the whole weekend. I told Amanda that I just got beat up. At the time I didn't know who had assaulted me, only that his name was Aaron. I looked up Facebook to try and find the identity of Aaron. There were a couple of pictures of the Crossmaglen Rangers. I knew that the fellow who had assaulted me had a Crossmaglen accent. My friend Connor Hughes had a photo on his Facebook of a photo where Drum and T were playing Crossmaglen Rangers. I saw the picture of the fellow who assaulted me in the Crossmaglen jersey. There were names under the picture identifying this person as Aaron Brady. He was standing on the right hand side of the picture at the back as you looked at it. There were fellas kneeling in the front. I could match the name of the team on the team sheet with the face in the picture to the man who had assaulted me. I did this a couple of days after the assault. I didn't report the assault to the police. The only thing that people knew...
Sorry, just a point of clarification here, yeah? The name on the team sheet, which was Aaron Brady, yeah?
We could match the name on the team sheet.
Sorry.
Okay, which was Aaron Brady. So the name of the team sheet, Anthony,
Yes.
said Aaron Brady.
Yes.
Said the words, yeah?
Yeah, there was names under the picture identifying this person as Aaron Brady. Have it there. I could match the name on the team sheet, which was Aaron Brady, with the face in the picture to the man who had assaulted me. I did this a couple of days after the assault. I didn't report the assault to the police. The only thing that people knew was that I had been fighting. I did not tell them anything about who had assaulted me out of fear and because I had been threatened not to open my mouth. Up until now I have been keeping all this in because I didn't know what these guys are capable of. I didn't know who the friends of Aaron Brady were from the bar that night. I was scared of what they could do to me or my wife if she was with me. I don't go to Woodlawn since that time. I didn't know Aaron Brady before this. I never had any dealings with him before the day of the assault or afterwards. The same as for his friends that were with him. When Aaron Brady was arrested in the USA, a lot of people in my work were saying that they heard about Aaron Brady's involvement in the guard's murder. They did not work for my company but were just at the site. I remember being on a site at 116 Frederick Douglass, west side of Manhattan. There were two fellas at the site smoking. One fellow was called Johnny Gartland. He is from Ireland, living in Woodlawn, about 6'7" tall, aged 27 to 28 years. He has a big beard. He is a carpenter. The other fellow was Tommy McGee, aged 24ish, Irish, friend of Johnny's, living in Woodlawn, about 5'9", carpenter as well. There was a renovation at the building. They both asked me, did I hear about Aaron Brady getting arrested? I had not at that point. The two of them said that Aaron Brady used to brag about shooting a guard in Ireland to people, that Aaron used to say it at house parties. They didn't say whether Aaron Brady had told them directly. I didn't say anything about what had happened to me with Aaron. In relation to the map I have drawn, I have marked this AM1. I have signed and dated it. I want to add that I have told you this today because I don't feel that Aaron Brady should get away with it. I was scared to step up, but now I am willing to do all I can to help. I'm 100% happy with what I have told you, and I will have no problem meeting you again if you need.
Yes.
So I've read that over to you. Is it correct?
Yes.
That's correct, yes. Do you want to add or alter anything in it?
No, I think that's it. That's all I know for now.
Okay. So I'll just ask you to sign this now, yeah? Screw it on with it, okay?
You saying all of them?
Yeah, so we'll go through, we put your signature on the bottom here, yeah? And then we just go through this very quickly. We know that you are, we know that you have people calling to you at 12 o'clock. Yeah. Okay, so that's okay, and the map is okay, yeah? We'll just work backwards. So I'll just ask you to put your initials there, okay? So you can put AM. Now, if you just put AM up here, just where I've added in little bits in the statement, okay? While we were going through them, okay? And just here.
Here?
Yeah, just here.
Oh, here?
Yeah, just where we just put in some corrections as we were moving along, yeah?
Yes.
Here, yeah.
Can you say here?
Yeah, just your initials there, that'll do, yeah. That's great. And here you can put your initials here. And here, where we change McLean to Daytona. And here on the bottom here, please. Okay, that's okay. Here on the bottom. And here, just this little correction here, anywhere, just beside the correction there, yeah. Here. And here, just along here.
That's it, Mark, yeah.
Yeah.
And myself and Mark might just sign that there, just on the camera there as well. So Mark's just signed it, I've signed that there, yeah. Now, that's me signed as well, so.
Okay, that's perfect. So, thanks very much. Statement of Anthony Maguire. The 11th of October 1990, taken on the 1st of December 2017 at the above address by Mark Phillips, Detective Sergeant, GMVCI, and Detective Guard Jim McGovern, GMVCI, and I hereby declare that the statement is true to the best of my knowledge and belief, and that I make it knowing that if it is intended in evidence, I will be liable to prosecution. If I state in it anything which I know to be false or do not believe to be true, it just means that you're telling the truth here, okay? So further to my statement dated the 1st of December 2017, which is the one we just took earlier, yeah?
Yes. I
have been asked if I will give permission for the Garda to take a photograph of the scar that I have over my left eye that I have from when Aaron Brady assaulted me. I have no difficulty with this and have agreed to this.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just ask you, so this is correct, yeah?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so I'll just ask you to put your signature on the bottom here where it says signed, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's fine. I'll just sign it. Okay, Anthony, that's perfect. Listen, thanks very much for that, okay? Thank you.
I've seen Anthony Gerald Maguire's 2 videos, and the statement readback and the interaction in the back of the SUV. Now, as we have said just before the video, Anthony Gerald Maguire's statement represents the epitome of how this investigation was mishandled, and particularly during the American aspect of the investigation. So what we want to do now is we're going to have to break down Maguire's statement. As I said before, Maguire's statement allows us to spread out in different areas and link all the different aspects of the corruption and collusion and the illegalities of the authorities in America. So we'll be breaking the video down into, I think it's 5 or 6 shorter videos. We'll be having a quick look at, we'll go into some detail on how this incredible coincidence of 2 cousins, first cousins, living in America, a city of 8 million people, and lo and behold, isn't it a big coincidence that Aaron Brady actually admitted to both of these cousins in the city of America, in the city of New York. We also have the situation we have to go into the 2 people who are living together and they never told each other. Maguire never told anyone. Well, he tells us he never told anyone. We'll go into some detail on that. Morton never told anyone, his brother or the fella, his first cousin with whom he was living. Anthony Gerald Maguire's legal status leaves a great deal to be desired. We'll be going through his criminal record. He was caught with drugs, ammunition, all of which we've covered in some detail before, but we'll have to go in detail with it in association with the video. His St. Patrick's Day, the 3rd video will be his St. Patrick's Day story, where he allegedly stood in a pub for over a half an hour waiting to get his check changed. The pub was absolutely packed, but there's a spare seat just for him, happened to be beside 3 or 4 fellas, and I think, what is this, the bulky fella, or the stocky fella, was saying these things to him. Have you got what it takes to kill someone? I shot a guard. So this all happened in a pub on St. Patrick's Day. We will go into the detail on that. Anthony Gerald Maguire most certainly was drinking that day and taking drugs. He was involved with 3 other people whom attacked Aaron that night. And we have people who can corroborate this, and we have raised this issue before, and we'll be able to highlight too how Anthony Maguire was part of a gang with Daniel Cahill who attacked Aaron, and we'll be able to decipher from Cahill's testimony that he was telling lies about the events of St. Patrick's Night 2015. Then we have an extradition warrant for Anthony Gerald Maguire that was made disappear. In 2017, Anthony Gerald Maguire was wanted, obviously, for the drugs and ammunition he was caught with in Northern Ireland in, I think it's November 2014, and then he absconded. So there was an extradition warrant, and we'll show you the actual role of Detective Mark Phillips. And we have Detective Mark Phillips give information in an affidavit that he spoke to the PSNI about Anthony Gerald Maguire's extradition. So we're seeking information on how that happened, what was the workings behind how Mark Phillips, the Irish authorities, the DPP, the PSNI, the Crown Prosecution Service, how they made the extradition warrant disappear. And then we have to look at the scenario where and why Maguire was extradited. He eventually was extradited 6 years later in January 2023. And we're going to go into some detail on that. He appears in the mainstream media in January 2023 on all these criminal charges. And lo and behold, by July, Anthony Gerald Maguire is back in New York. And we also have to look at Anthony Gerald Maguire's letter to the Irish courts, and in particular directed to Mark Phillips, where his lawyer, Anthony Gerald Maguire's lawyer, told the Irish judicial system that Maguire didn't want to have anything more to do with Aaron Brady's case. He was put under severe duress to make a statement. And I think for those of you after watching the video of his readback and Mr. Maguire in the back of the SUV, I don't think there is any, nobody could contradict us if we said that Mr. Maguire was under duress in both of those scenarios. And it's not as if he was a criminal. It's not as if he was going to be charged with anything. This man was allegedly, as Pat Marry put it, and Brendan Graham, all these wonderful people, clean living, good people came forward to give their testimony. Nothing could be further from the truth. So please bear with us over the next probably week or 10 days, and we'll break it all down. We'll take extracts from the readback and from the video, and we look at the evidence that is clear. Mark Phillips, Jim McGovern, Pat Marry, Bobby Ogle, Paul Gill, all detectives were doing deals with criminals, with drug dealers, with illegal immigrants, and to get them to say that Aaron Brady said that he shot a cop, shot a policeman, shot a Garda, he shot Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue, when we know that is physically impossible. The man who shot and murdered Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue, 6'3", Aaron Brady is 5'7". So the whole narrative, the cornerstone of all our campaign, the cornerstones all stand strong. And we need your help, the public's help, to bring down the house of cards that Aaron's conviction is built on by the Irish authorities, with the help of, it looks like now, the PSNI and members of Homeland Security in New York. So, as I say, please bear with us, and we'll bring these videos to you, break it down over the coming week, 10 days. Thank you so much for watching. Please, we've been very, very heavily censored. We do need people watching. Like, comment and share. And as I say, please reach out either to people in authority or elected representatives in your area, or simply drop an email, a text, a WhatsApp message to your local radio station, your local newspaper, and please ask, why is nobody covering what the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign is saying, whether you believe it to be correct or false. But we have to raise the awareness of the campaign. Thank you once again, and we'll see you with Anthony Gerald Maguire's story in the coming days. Thank you.